And it's like really important to share what we know, whether it be a technique or a modality. But sharing what we know is going to help us evolve and further our industry. And this is a fundamental part of being able to implement techniques that we want to implement and in a safe way. And throughout the time of teaching this course, oh my gosh, I have learned so much from the students.
Yeah.
Because there are so many ways to deal with something, and not everybody gets triggered by the same thing. And triggered me reactive. So whenever I have a reaction, I get curious. I'm like, why did I react to that? Okay, maybe it's a whatever. But not everybody reacts. Like some people are like, oh, that's how people are, and they associate certain things together, and I just them that doesn't belong together, and to watch their thoughts, and they're very like even keel about it, whereas I have been in the past like, oh my gosh, they just said this to me, and then I have a reaction. And so in getting curious and exploring my own responses to things, and then how other therapists may or may not be bothered by those same things, has been just so interesting to me. And then what happens in the class is everyone in the class learns from, I say, I basically set up the subjects. A lot of stuff I did not learn in school, like about trades, about what the IRS expects regarding trades, about non-compete and non-solicitation agreements for independent contractor versus employee, versus like, can you take tips with insurance clients? Like these things were not covered in any ethics class that I've ever taken, and they've come because what do you call it, with kickback laws. I talk about kickback laws, like there are things that I just never learned in school that I was like, oh, I really need to pass on some of this information that I've learned along the way, because it's important that we, just because we didn't know that we're supposed to report trades to the IRS, for example, doesn't mean you're exempt from the law. So there's like so many things that are fascinating regarding ethics and boundaries, and how to position ourselves so that we're making the most of our efforts. And so let's say we even have a client who's a boundary pusher. It's like you have to really assess, like, is that worth your time and energy, as you know. So anyway, I get really passionate about it because I think it's interesting, because you know, we all are in it's kind of like we're in this container and we're together as massage therapists, but each person has their own boundaries, and each person has their own like way of seeing things, and things that bother them, and a lot of things that don't. Like things that bother me might not bother you. And I don't know, I also love being in the same space as other massage therapists. For some reason, like there's this like deeper understanding when you're a massage therapist of each other. I don't know. It's kind of like my tribe or something. And so that's part of the joy that I feel when I'm teaching, is like, oh, I get to be with people that are like my people. For the most part, I mean, for the most part, right? With anything else. But I would say, you know, offering a class just to offer a class isn't as fun, and it's like then the time like drudges on. But if you're offering, like for me, when I offer this ethics class, although ethics can be and I've been to other classes that are kind of like, oh, we're just reading line by line the law. It's kind of boring, right? You're not engaged. But when we tell stories together and we're like, okay, like if boundaries are defined as blah, 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 then how does what happened to me last week fit into what, you know, what would be a good course of action for the future, or creating a template together. I don't know. I could honestly, I'm probably talking too much, but I think I enjoy it because it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No,